Good afternoon. This is All India Radio. I am Valsa Williams and with me is Saira Mujtaba with the Midday News. The headlines. 6th edition of Raisina Dialogue to be inaugurated today by Prime Minister Narendra Modi. Over 40 lakh people inoculated with COVID-19 vaccine doses till now under the special vaccination drive Tika Utsav. Country reports over 1,61,000 fresh COVID cases. Delhi registers highest single-day spike of 13,500 COVID-19 cases. Chhattisgarh to hold all-party meeting to discuss situation arising out of spike in coronavirus infection. Centre fast-tracks emergency approvals of COVID-19 vaccines that have been granted emergency approvals in other countries to expand the coverage of vaccination. Department of Biotechnology approves additional funding for clinical studies for mRNA-based COVID-19 vaccine HDCO-19. Political campaign heats up for the 5th phase of assembly elections in West Bengal. Various parts of the country celebrate traditional New Year today. President, Vice President and Prime Minister greet people. Prime Minister Narendra Modi pays tributes to martyrs of the Jalyawala Bag tragedy on 102nd Remembrance of the Black Day. And in IPL cricket, Mumbai Indians to clash with Kolkata Knight Riders this evening at Chennai. As the number of COVID cases is on the rise again, we appeal to our listeners not to lower their guard, follow all precautions and all those above 45 years to get vaccinated without any hesitation. Stay safe and protected by following these 3 simple steps. Wear a face mask, maintain 2 gaz ki duri for social distancing, focus on hand and face hygiene. And now the news in detail. The 6th edition of the prestigious Raisina Dialogue will be inaugurated today. Prime Minister Narendra Modi will inaugurate the dialogue through a video message. President of Rwanda, Paul Kagame, and Prime Minister of Denmark, Mette Frederiksen, will also join the inaugural session as chief guests. Prime Minister of Australia, Scott Morrison, will participate in the conference in one of the subsequent sessions. The 4-day dialogue will be held virtually. It is India's flagship conference on geopolitics and geoeconomics, held annually since 2016. It is jointly organized by the Ministry of External Affairs and the Observer Research Foundation. The theme for the 2021 edition is #ViralWorld, Outbreaks, Outliers and Out of Control. Over the course of 4 days, the dialogue will have panel discussions on 5 thematic pillars: whose multilateralism, reconstructing the UN and beyond, securing and diversifying supply chains, global public bags holding actors and nations to account, infodemic, navigating a no-truth world in the age of Big Brother, and the green stimulus, investing in gender, growth and development.
Over the course of 4 days, the dialogue will have panel conversations on 5 themes like multilateralism, supply chains, infodemic and the green stimulus. The 2021 edition will have 50 sessions with participation of 150 speakers from 50 countries and multilateral organizations. More than 2,000 attendees have pre-registered from over 80 countries and a large number of participants are likely to join the dialogue through various social media platforms. The event will also see presence of former Prime Minister of Australia Anthony Abbott and former Prime Minister of New Zealand Helen Clark. Foreign ministers of Portugal, Slovenia, Romania, Singapore, Nigeria, Japan, Italy, Sweden, Australia, Kenya, Chile, Maldives, Iran, Qatar and Bhutan will also participate. In the past 6 years, the Raisina Dialogue has grown in stature and profile to emerge as a leading global conference on international affairs. It attracts leading minds from the global strategic and policy-making community to discuss broader foreign policy and strategic issues facing the world. Anupam Mish, AR News, Delhi.
French Minister for Europe and Foreign Affairs Jean-Yves Le Drian arrived in New Delhi last night on a 3-day visit to India. He will hold talks with External Affairs Minister Dr. S. Jaishankar today on bilateral, regional and international issues of mutual interest. The visiting dignitary will call on Prime Minister Narendra Modi this evening. He will also meet Minister of Environment, Forest and Climate Change Prakash Javadekar at a panel discussion on climate change. The visiting dignitary will also participate in the Raisina Dialogue. He is scheduled to visit Bengaluru. India and France enjoy a strategic partnership since 1998, which has been marked by regular high-level exchanges and growing cooperation in diverse areas. The visit will pave the way for further strengthening of the partnership across trade, defence, climate, migration and mobility, education and health sectors in the post-COVID context.
India's COVID vaccination drive has gained remarkable momentum after Prime Minister Narendra Modi's clarion call to observe Tika Utsav from 11th to 14th of this month. On the second day of the special vaccination drive, the nation recorded inoculation of over 40 lakh doses. The 87th day since the beginning of the largest and fastest vaccination program, the country also registered substantial increase in the number of total COVID vaccination centers engaged in vaccination. The number of COVID vaccination centers in the country increased from nearly 45,000 to around 71,000, registering a growth of over 26,000 centers in a single day. With many workplace vaccination centers also witnessing heavy turnout of beneficiaries, the cumulative number of vaccine doses given in the country now stands at over 10 crore 85 lakhs. The nation commenced the largest vaccination drive in the world on 16th of January this year with vaccination of healthcare workers. The Health Ministry has informed that in a short span of time, over 7 crore 60 lakh people above 45 years have already been administered the first shot of the COVID-19 vaccine, whereas in the same age group, over 30 lakh people have been fully vaccinated after receiving their second dose of vaccination. The central government has fast-tracked the emergency approvals for foreign vaccines that have been granted emergency use authorization. The step is being taken to expand the basket of vaccines for domestic use and speed up the vaccination drive in the country. National Expert Group on Vaccine Administration for COVID-19, NEGVAC, has recommended that COVID-19 vaccines which have been developed, manufactured, granted emergency approval for restricted use by several foreign countries and listed in World Health Organization's emergency use listing may be granted emergency use approval in India. It also recommended that the first 100 beneficiaries of such foreign vaccines shall be assessed for 7 days for safety outcomes before it is being rolled out for immunization in the country. The Union Government has accepted the recommendations of NEGVAC. Our correspondent reports that vaccination is one of the important strategies adopted by the centre to curb the spread of COVID pandemic in the country. The decision will facilitate quicker access to such foreign vaccines by India. It will also provide a fillip to vaccine manufacturing capacity and vaccine availability in the country.
A special vaccination team has been sent to remotely located Chora Island in Nicobar to vaccinate the people at their doorsteps under the ongoing Tika Utsav in Andaman and Nicobar Islands. The Department of Biotechnology has announced that it has approved additional funding for clinical studies of mRNA-based COVID-19 vaccine HGCO-19. This funding has been provided under the mission COVID Suraksha. The vaccine is developed by Pune-based biotechnology company Jalyawala Biopharmaceuticals Limited. The company has initiated the process to enroll healthy volunteers for the Phase 1 and 2 clinical trials. Expressing happiness that India's first mRNA-based COVID-19 vaccine is going to clinical trial, Secretary of Department of Biotechnology Dr. Renu Swarup said this is a new technology and never been used for vaccine manufacturing in India before.
Delhi Chief Minister Arvind Kejriwal has urged the centre to adopt alternative methodology for conducting board exams this year in view of the pandemic. In his address to the media in the national capital today, he said 6 lakh children in Delhi are going to take CBSE exams, in which around 1 lakh teachers will also be participating as invigilators. The Chief Minister asserted that the examination centres can become major hotspots of corona. The Chief Minister suggested that some alternative methods like an online or internal assessment evaluation should be adopted this year to promote students. He also highlighted the alarming increase in the number of daily COVID cases in the capital city. He informed that nearly 13,500 cases were reported in the last 24 hours, which is far above the numbers recorded from the peak observed last year. The West Bengal government has called for a meeting with the administrative officials of poll-bound districts today in the wake of the rising COVID-19 cases. The Chief Secretary of the state will hold a series of virtual meetings with the DMs as well as top officials of various departments. In a review meeting held yesterday, the government asked the district administrations to ensure keeping the celebration of the upcoming Bengali New Year a low-key affair. West Bengal has recorded over 4,500 fresh COVID-19 cases in the last 24 hours, which have crossed the highest number of infection in a single day.
In Bihar, COVID-19 infection is spreading rapidly. 2,999 fresh cases were reported during the last 24 hours in the state. Maximum 1,197 cases were reported from Patna. 289 containment zones have been made in the state capital. Active cases in the state have gone up to over 17,000 and they are undergoing treatment at different hospitals. Recovery rate is decreasing and it is now at 93.48%. Rajasthan reached a major COVID-19 milestone yesterday as it crossed the 1 crore mark in vaccine doses administered, the second highest by any state. The Health Minister of the state, Dr. Raghu Sharma, said that 4.70 lakh persons were vaccinated daily during the last 4 days. Our correspondent reports that the COVID infection is continuously making a new record every day in the state.
The number of active cases of COVID-19 has increased from 9,000 to more than 36,000 in the last 12 days. Yesterday, 5,771 new cases were reported in the state, while 25 people died due to infection. Jaipur, Jodhpur, Udaipur, Kota, Alwar, Bhilwara and Dungarpur districts are the most affected due to infection. Health Secretary Siddharth Mahajan told that more than 55,000 samples of COVID are being tested every day. A target has been set to test 1 lakh samples every day by the end of this month. Strict action is being taken against those violating the COVID protocol. Many commercial establishments have been sealed. Jitendra Dwivedi, AIR News, Jaipur.
The Gujarat government has urged the centre to start DRDO COVID hospital with 900 bed capacity at GMDC Community Hall in Ahmedabad. Chief Minister Vijay Rupani said in Gandhinagar that this hospital will have oxygen and other facilities for COVID patients. Our Ahmedabad correspondent reports that the Gujarat government has announced a series of measures following a surge in COVID-19 cases in the state. More from our Ahmedabad correspondent.
In his video message through social media, Chief Minister Vijay Rupani announced the complete ban on all types of public functions, including religious celebrations, during the month of April and May. He said that now only 50 persons will be allowed to attend wedding functions. All religious places have been asked to close the public entries till 30th April. All government, semi-government, public sector and private offices, except essential services, will be allowed to work with 50% staff or alternate day functioning. Meanwhile, Gujarat has registered 6,021 new cases of COVID-19 yesterday. Maximum 1,907 new cases have been reported from Ahmedabad city, while Surat recorded 1,174 new cases. Yogesh Pandya, AIR News, Ahmedabad.
In Chhattisgarh, an all-party meeting will be held to discuss the situation arising out of COVID infections and measures for its prevention. Representatives of different political parties as well as heads of various social groups will be invited to this meeting to be held virtually in the presence of Governor Anusuya Uike and Chief Minister Bhupesh Baghel. 13,576 new COVID patients have been identified in the state yesterday. A report.
In Chhattisgarh, about 4,57,000 COVID-positive patients have been found so far. Yesterday, 107 people died due to corona infection in the state. Currently, about 99,000 infected people are undergoing treatment in various hospitals. In Chhattisgarh, about 35 lakh people above the age of 45 years have been vaccinated against the COVID-19. Approximately 57% of the people in this age group have been vaccinated. Meanwhile, due to the closure of schools in Chhattisgarh, the state government has decided that all school children will be given 40 days of dry ration under the midday meal scheme. Vikalp Shukla, AIR News, Raipur.
Telangana reported over 3,000 fresh COVID-19 cases in the last 24 hours, taking the total number of cases reported so far in the state to over 3,32,778 persons recovered from COVID during the same period, with a recovery rate of 92.21%. The state has currently over 24,000 active COVID cases, out of which over 16,000 are in home isolation. 7 people succumbed to the disease, taking the toll to 1,772. The number of total active cases of COVID-19 in the country further swelled today to comprise nearly 9.24% of the total reported cases. The Health Ministry has informed that currently over 12,64,000 people have reported to be suffering from COVID-19 and are either hospitalized or under home isolation. In the last 24 hours, the number of new cases witnessed a marginal decline as the nation registered 1,61,736 fresh COVID cases. The COVID-19 recovery rate in the country today recorded a further downward slip to stand at 89.51%. Since yesterday, over 97,000 people have been discharged from hospitals or reported to have been completely cured. Till now, over 1,22 lakh people have recovered from the infection in the country. 10 states, including Maharashtra, Karnataka, Chhattisgarh, Delhi, Tamil Nadu, Uttar Pradesh, Punjab, Madhya Pradesh, Gujarat and Kerala continue to be the major hotspots of the pandemic.
Talking to AIR, Dr. Sanjay Pandey, Professor of Neurology, GB Pant Hospital, Delhi, said the COVID-19 vaccination coverage will be increased very soon.
तीसरी वैक्सीन जो स्पुतनिक वी को अप्रूवल मिला है, तो पिछले साल स्पुतनिक वी के रिसर्च डेटा आए थे कि इसमें 93% के आसपास एफिकेसी देखी गई थी। तो यह एक अच्छा वैक्सीन है और अप्रूवल मिला है, ये अच्छी बात है। अभी तक हमारे पास 2 वैक्सीन थे, कोवैक्सीन और एक कोविशील्ड। तो ये तीसरा वैक्सीन 45 प्लस को ओपन किया है वैक्सीनेशन के लिए। तो देखा होगा कि वैक्सीनेशन की रफ्तार काफी तेज बढ़ी है। तो बेशक स्पुतनिक वी के आने के बाद यह रफ्तार और तेजी पकड़ेगी और उम्मीद है कि हम इस एज बार को 45 से नीचे लाके 30-35 प्लस भी कर पाएंगे।
You are listening to the Midday News on All India Radio. A reminder of the headlines before we move on. 6th edition of Raisina Dialogue to be inaugurated today by Prime Minister Narendra Modi. Over 40 lakh people inoculated with COVID-19 vaccine doses till now under the special vaccination drive Tika Utsav. Country reports over 1,61,000 fresh COVID cases. Delhi registers highest single-day spike of 13,500 COVID-19 cases. Chhattisgarh to hold all-party meeting to discuss situation arising out of spike in coronavirus infection. Centre fast-tracks emergency approvals of COVID-19 vaccines that have been granted emergency approvals in other countries to expand the coverage of vaccination. Department of Biotechnology approves additional funding for clinical studies of mRNA-based COVID-19 vaccine AGCO-19. Political campaign heats up for the 5th phase of assembly elections in West Bengal. Various parts of the country celebrate traditional New Year today. President, Vice President and Prime Minister greet people. Prime Minister Modi pays tributes to martyrs of the Jalyawala Bag tragedy on 102nd remembrance of the Black Day. And in IPL cricket, Mumbai Indians to clash with Kolkata Knight Riders this evening at Chennai. For quick news updates round the clock, follow us on our Twitter handle @AIR News Alerts.
चलो मिलकर एक शुरुआत करें, चलो एक फैसला आज करें, मास्क नहीं तो टोकेंगे, कोरोना को रोकेंगे, चलो एक इरादा करते हैं, चलो खुद से वादा करते हैं, मास्क नहीं तो टोकेंगे, कोरोना को रोकेंगे।
Welcome back to the Midday News. Revenue collection for the last fiscal has outshone all estimates to affirm India's robust growth trajectory. The provisional figures for net indirect tax collections released by the Finance Ministry for the financial year 2020-21 has shown growth of more than 12% as compared to the actual revenue receipts in financial year 2019-20. Talking to AIR News, economist Naveen Gupta said,
Provisional figures of indirect tax collection for financial year 2021 is received at 10.7 lakh crore, which shows growth of 12.3% compared to actual indirect tax collection receipts in financial year 1920, which were at 9.5 lakh crore. This shows on one hand success of measures announced from time to time by Government of India and Reserve Bank of India under Atmanirbhar Bharat, and secondly, it shows Indian economy's readiness and resilience to deal with fresh wave and impact of COVID cases in this year.
Political campaigning is heating up for the fifth phase of polling in West Bengal. The polling process is already over in respect of 135 out of a total of 294 assembly seats in the earlier four phases. A total of 319 candidates are in the fray in the fifth phase of assembly elections. 45 seats spread over 6 districts, including 16 seats of the North 24 Parganas, will go to polls on the 17th of this month. Here is a report from our Kolkata correspondent.
Bidhannagar, named after the former Chief Minister of West Bengal Bidhan Chandra Rai, and the prestigious planned town in the suburbs of Kolkata, is said to witness the high-voltage contest between the sitting MLA and State Minister Sujit Bose with the former Mayor of the township, Sabyasachi Datto. The rift between the two prominent leaders of the Trinamool Congress, Bose and Datto, became public during the 2019 Lok Sabha elections, and later Mr. Datto, who had joined the BJP, has been fielded by the party for the seat. Sujit Bose is seeking a successive third term as the Trinamool Congress candidate, while Sabyasachi Datto, MLA of 2 terms, is contesting as the BJP candidate from Bidhannagar this time. Abhishek Banerjee, employee of an MNC and the namesake of the Trinamool Congress MP, is contesting as the Congress candidate on behalf of Sanjukta Morcha for the seat. Apart from beautification of the banks of the Canal, a replica of the Big Ben of London on the way to the airport made the TMC candidate a household name. But the opposition parties are pointing fingers on him for ignoring basic problems like stagnation of water due to siltation. On the other hand, the BJP candidate is trying to put forth the overall development work done by the Bidhannagar Municipal Corporation. Madhu Parnadhar Chaudhary reporting from North 24 Parganas for AIR News.
The election campaign is also on for the simultaneous by-elections of 2 Lok Sabha seats of Tirupati in Andhra Pradesh and Belgaum in Karnataka, along with 13 assembly constituencies spread over 10 states.
Senior BJP leader and Home Minister Amit Shah addressed an election rally at Lebong in Darjeeling district. He remembered the contribution of Darjeeling in the country's freedom movement. He said that once Darjeeling made a huge contribution in the progress of the nation, but due to the negligence of the Congress, Communist Party and TMC, the area is now lagging behind. He promised to solve all problems of Darjeeling if the party comes to power in West Bengal. The Election Commission has taken a serious view over the remarks made by 2 BJP leaders over the violent incident at Cooch Behar in West Bengal. In its orders, the Commission has imposed a ban on BJP leader Rahul Sinha from campaigning for 48 hours. Terming Rahul Sinha's statement serious, the Election Commission said that the BJP leader has made highly provocative statements mocking human lives, inciting force. The Commission has asked Dilip Ghosh to explain his stand over his statement by 10 a.m. tomorrow.
In Madhya Pradesh, there is a direct contest between the ruling BJP and the Congress in the April 17th by-election for the Damoh Assembly seat. Sushil Chandra has assumed the charge as the 24th Chief Election Commissioner today. A 1980 batch officer of Indian Revenue Service, he joined the Election Commission as an Election Commissioner in February last year. He is a member of Delimitation Commission, which is looking after the works of delimitation of Jammu and Kashmir. Having held several posts in the Income Tax Department for nearly 39 years, Chandra was appointed as the chairman of the Central Board of Direct Taxes on the 1st of November 2016. The unfortunate Jalyawala Bag Massacre happened on the 13th of April 1919. Today, the country is remembering the 102nd year of the tragic incident. Prime Minister Narendra Modi has paid rich tributes to those who were martyred in the Jalyawala Bag Massacre. The Prime Minister said the courage, heroism and sacrifice of the martyrs gives strength to every Indian.
Various regions of the country are celebrating traditional New Year today in the form of Ugadi, Guri Parva, Chaitra Sukrali, Cheti Chand, Puthandu and Bohag Bihu. According to the luni-solar calendar, the first day of the full moon of Chaitra is the beginning of the Hindu New Year. People of Andhra Pradesh and Telangana call it Ugadi, and in Karnataka it is Yugadi. In Maharashtra it is celebrated as Guri Parva, and in Tamil Nadu it is observed as Puthandu. In Kerala, the day is celebrated as Vishu. In Punjab it is Vaisakhi, and in Orissa it is called Pana Sankranti. In West Bengal, it is called Poila Boishakh, and in Assam, Bohag Bihu. President Ramnath Kovind and Vice President M. Venkaiah Naidu and Prime Minister Narendra Modi have greeted the people on the occasion.
The holy month of Ramzan will begin tomorrow. Maulana Khalid Rashid Firangi Mehli of Central Moon Sighting Committee Lucknow said that the moon was not sighted yesterday. He appealed to people to follow COVID guidelines issued by the government during Ramzan. Five-time IPL champions Mumbai Indians will clash with two-time victors Kolkata Knight Riders in Chennai's M.A. Chidambaram Stadium this evening. Mumbai Indians lost their opening match to Royal Challengers Bangalore, while Kolkata Knight Riders beat the Sunrisers at the same venue. It will be the 28th T20 meeting between Kolkata Knight Riders and Mumbai Indians. In their last 12 meetings, Mumbai have beaten Kolkata on 11 instances. Now let us take a look at the weather forecast for the day. National capital Delhi with mainly clear sky. Maximum temperature is expected to be 40 degrees, while it recorded a minimum of 20 degrees Celsius. Mumbai, having generally cloudy sky with light rain or drizzles, is expected to see a maximum temperature of around 34 degrees. It registered a minimum of 25 degrees. Kolkata is witnessing a partly cloudy sky with possibility of moderate rain or thunderstorm. The city is expected to have a maximum temperature of around 37 degrees. It witnessed a minimum of 26 degrees. Chennai is having a partly cloudy sky with temperature moving from minimum of 28 to maximum of 35. Srinagar, the sky is generally cloudy with light rain. The temperature will rise from a minimum of 9 to a maximum of 20 degrees Celsius. Jammu is having mainly clear sky, becoming partly cloudy towards afternoon or evening. The minimum temperature was 20 degrees, while the maximum is to be around 35 degrees. Leh is witnessing partly cloudy sky with maximum temperature of around 10 degrees. The minimum temperature was -3 degrees Celsius. Gilgit is having generally cloudy sky with temperature rising from a minimum of 9 to a maximum of 24 degrees Celsius. Muzaffarabad is having partly cloudy sky. Maximum temperature will be around 26 degrees Celsius. Minimum was 12 degrees. In some business news, the Sensex and the Nifty today logged modest gains in afternoon trades. The domestic stocks added amid mixed global cues. The Sensex of the Bombay Stock Exchange rose above 48,000 mark. The Sensex gained 141 points or 0.3% to trade at 48,024. The Nifty at the National Stock Exchange also appreciated 42 points or 0.29% to trade at 14,353 level. On the other hand, the rupee at the foreign exchange market weakened 36 paise to 75 rupees and 41 paise against the US dollar in afternoon deals. And now, before we end the bulletin, the headlines once again. The 6th edition of Raisina Dialogue to be inaugurated today by Prime Minister Narendra Modi. Over 40 lakh people inoculated with COVID-19 vaccine doses till now under the special vaccination drive Tika Utsav. Country reports over 1,61,000 fresh COVID cases. Delhi registers highest single-day spike of 13,500 COVID-19 cases. Chhattisgarh to hold all-party meeting to discuss situation arising out of spike in coronavirus infection. Centre fast-tracks emergency approvals of COVID-19 vaccines that have been granted emergency approvals in other countries to expand the coverage of vaccination. Department of Biotechnology approves additional funding for clinical studies of mRNA-based COVID-19 vaccine HGCO19. Political campaign heats up for 5th phase of assembly elections in West Bengal. Various parts of the country celebrate traditional New Year today. President, Vice President and Prime Minister greet people. Prime Minister Narendra Modi pays tributes to martyrs of the Jalyawala Bag tragedy on 102nd Remembrance of the Black Day. And in IPL cricket, Mumbai Indians to clash with Kolkata Knight Riders this evening at Chennai. For details of these stories and more, log on to our website www.newsonair.com and News on AIR app. And with that, we end the Midday News.